This is the Big Deal Podcast, brought to you and powered by New Covenant Baptist Church in Albertville, Alabama. And on this podcast, we're asking the question, what's the big deal about all things Bible, theology, and culture? I'm Justin.
I'm Brad.
Welcome to the Big Deal. We have a sponsor, don't we?
We do.
We have our very first ever corporate sponsor.
Real sponsor.
Real businesses sponsoring the podcast.
What do we want to call it?
This is... look at these mugs. You see these
Look
mugs?
at these mugs.
Do you see that? It
Not
says,
these mugs. These mugs. Can you see it?
Oh, that says the Big Deal Podcast. And this is from Trawick Farms and Printing and Services. What is it?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, he has a laser engraver and he does all these cups and he did these awesome. They're so cool. And so
he jumped up to #1 fan.
He did. And if you are a member of New Covenant, which many of you are, he's actually doing these cups and stuff and like big tumblers for our church. That has our logo and everything. And he'll even put the podcast on it for you too.
Yeah.
And you can buy one of those.
You could buy 2 of them.
Yeah. And
great Christmas presents.
He's donating some of the money to the church, which is cool. Yeah.
Which slowly trickles its way. Not to this podcast, really.
No,
but
this podcast costs zero money.
$0.
It takes nothing to make.
Wait, they're not paying you?
They're paying you.
They're paying you. Oh my goodness! I think my headphones just went out.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Oh, for real?
Oh, there they came back.
They came back. Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. So, thank you, Joe and Brianne at Trawick Services. It was a really cool mug. We put our energy drinks in this mug so we could be drinking out of it the whole time and make slurping noises.
Slurping noises for our people that like that. What is it called?
The ASMR.
ASMR.
Someone told me the other day that that's like it's like pervy. ASMR is like pervy.
I think that might be true.
But I didn't know that.
I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah,
it gives me the creeps though.
It creeps me out. I don't like it.
Mm-mm.
But like I watch this one guy cooking, and every once in a while he'll make like an ASMR one of like all the slicing and then he'll like eat it. I'm like, I gotta get out of this. I can't watch that.
Dude, that's like people that watch. There are people out there who watch people pop pimples.
Now that's weird.
What is wrong with y'all?
Yeah, look, if you do that.
Stop looking at that.
We have some counselors we could recommend to you.
Yes, there's a whole show on TV called Dr. Pimple Popper.
I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah.
How bizarre, man.
I know.
I got a question for you.
Oh, boy.
All right. Would you rather?
Yes.
Hey, you're a fighting man, aren't you?
I'll fight you.
He rolls. You do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Brazilian or what?
Brazilian.
You did Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Well, he used to. He hadn't been in a long time.
I hadn't been in a while.
Yeah. You probably remember some of it, though.
Yeah, I could still whoop a fella.
All right. Would you rather fight Sasquatch or an alien?
Man, alien's too broad. You know?
I'm just leaving it to you.
I'm going alien.
Okay.
Depends. Like if it's the predator. I mean,
oh no.
But I mean,
if it's alien.
Here's the deal.
You know?
Here's the deal, though.
Yeah.
Sasquatch is an automatic L. Automatic.
There's no way you're getting out of it.
I'm not whooping a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
That ain't happening. But there might be like some 2-foot alien out
what
there.
if it's like little green men aliens?
Could be little green man. I could just go, or like those little ones that saw the claw in Toy Story, something like that.
Ones.
Yeah, I could whoop one of them.
Yeah, I could whoop one of them.
Yeah, I'm not taking Sasquatch. I'd just bring my beef jerky and hang.
That's like the gamble though. Is let's say that's the gamble. You don't get to choose. And you don't know what kind of, and there's like, it
could be Galactus.
It could be crazy. It could be Thanos or something.
Well, I mean, L's an L.
Yeah, you're going to lose no matter what. Would you rather lose to an alien or Sasquatch?
Alien.
Yeah.
I'd rather lose to Thanos.
All
At least I went out like a boss.
Follow-up question. Which do you think is more likely to be real, an alien or a Sasquatch?
Alien.
More likely that there's aliens than Sasquatches.
I think there's aliens.
You actually think there are aliens?
Well, I mean, technically aren't like angels aliens, technically? They're not from Earth.
I don't think that's you can ride that technicality.
Yeah, I'm riding it.
No, because it's like, that kind of like removes the definition from it.
Oh, what's...
So like go with the classic, beings
extraplanetary
from other planets, extraterrestrial, Terra as in our planet.
I think aliens still.
You say more likely than
That doesn't
Sasquatch?
mean the odds of Sasquatch are 0.
Yeah.
It just means, man, it's a really big universe out there.
Yeah.
There's like, it just gets bigger all the time. Every time they put a new telescope up there, they're like, look at the size of this thing.
Did you see like the news articles from 2 weeks ago when they did the UFO Congress thing? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They had another hearing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's weird, dude.
I know.
It's weird.
It's super weird.
Yeah. Like every time that stuff comes out, I'm expecting, the U.S. government to be like, no, it's a bunch of nonsense. There's nothing like that in our world.
Why are we wasting taxpayer time?
It's all manipulated videos and stuff. And instead, what you get is, these are videos we have.
Yeah.
Aren't they interesting? That's what the government does.
I could tell you some top secret stuff about it.
I put it on the podcast. Put it out there.
So I can't tell. I don't know. All I can say is that in my previous unit, I worked with pilots.
Yeah.
And some of them were friends with folks that took that footage.
Yeah.
And it is real.
Of the pills and stuff.
Of the little pills that like
the water.
pop out of the water and zip across and go back in. Yeah.
They said it was real.
It's real.
So aliens live under the water. Yeah, go ahead.
I was told that they're not extraterrestrial.
But
they're not from any known country or technology.
What in the world?
Dude, there's some
All right.
Gary Man in Atlantis.
This just in.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Atlantis is real underwater merman.
We've actually been at war with them since 52.
52?
Yeah.
Year 52?
We pretended like those atom bombs.
1952.
Yeah. We pretended like those atom bombs were tests. We were actually in battle with underwater intelligence.
We were bombing.
We nuked them.
We nuked Atlantis.
We did. We nuked them.
You're saying that with such confidence.
At first, you were laughing, and then slowly, you're like, "Is he serious?"
Oh my! Like you just didn't break. You didn't break on that one.
I actually made that up on the spot.
Yeah.
But if they do live down there, they might be kind of mad at us.
They might have gotten mad about that.
They might be like, "What are they doing?"
They
up there?
might be upset about the Texas-sized trash, pile in the middle of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean.
The weird thing is they need to chill because they own 3/4 of the world.
They do.
We've got this half a
and that
quarter
trash
of it.
is not our fault.
No,
that's China's fault.
They should be
looking
against
at you, China, and
China.
India,
and everybody else that don't have recycled trash.
They're like dumping.
Of course, now that's not 100% fair because, to be fair to China and India, what we do is we load our trash onto barges, ship it to China, who then dumps it in the ocean.
It's on them. It's their responsibility at that point.
We sold it to them.
They bought our trash.
They're like, yeah, we'll take care of it.
It's like, have you ever watched Parks and Rec?
No.
Oh, you've got to watch Parks and Rec. There's this one scene where Ron Swanson, hilarious, one of the best characters, comedy characters ever written. He's the mustache guy.
Yeah.
Libertarian, funny guy. And he goes into like what the equivalent of like a Whole Foods for this, in this world. And this guy that's working at the Whole Foods is trying to get him to try this vegan bacon.
Oh, and he keeps throwing it in the trash.
Yeah, he says, please, could I have some more? And he gives it to him and he throws it right in the trash. And some more. He keeps on throwing it in the trash. That's like that. That's what China does with our trash.
I haven't seen Parks and Recs, but I have because
you see him on the
once
reels.
I watch a reel and I like it, it'll send me like 90 in a row.
You need to watch the show. It's funny.
I don't think I need to anymore.
It's better than The Office.
Is it better than the reels?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of content you're going to miss out. A lot of funny
I guess
stuff.
so. I like the one where he gets in the hamburger cook-off with the boss guy.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, this is just a burger with buns. You can put some on it or not. I don't care. Another dude had this massive vegan burger.
Yeah, Chris Traeger.
Yeah. And they tried his little plain old burger and they were like, oh, this is better. This is so much better.
It was just like bread and meat.
Yeah, bread and meat.
That's kind of funny. When we were... we were traveling overseas in Amsterdam and in Europe. All the fast food places, they have like a very kind of like aggressive vegan, vegetarian menu.
Yeah.
Like every menu item has a vegetarian or vegan option or something for fast food. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it looks like health. It has the facade of health to it, but it's not really, because you look at the calories are usually worse. Usually higher calories for your vegan, vegetarian option, and
they stole your protein.
And less protein, and so much processing going into that. What does it take to turn a pile of beans into something that gets close to a burger patty.
And it's still not there.
And it's
after
still
all
not
that
there.
work.
Yeah.
The other thing is, man, it's kind of like when people say I'm on a diet, I'm going to eat a salad, and then you watch them put a cup of ranch on it. And it's
I
like,
know,
dude,
yeah.
you should have got the burger. What are you doing?
Shout out Robert Sims.
Oh, hey! It's like, it was healthy.
Yeah.
Until you made it good.
Yeah, that's exactly, that's
I
so
got to
true.
take his coat off after
Yeah.
you called out Robert. I got sweaty.
And they do, same thing for like folks that are vegan or vegetarian out of conscience, like they don't want to kill animals. And it's like, man, it's so many more animals die from farming, like produce farming, than through animal farming.
Yeah, I saw a cartoon or a comic one time that said, and this is true, if everybody became vegan because they didn't want to kill cows would actually go extinct because no one would keep them.
Yeah.
And they're not wild animals.
Yeah.
So if no farmers kept cows, so like eating meat might be murder, but being a vegan is genocide.
It is. It's absolute genocide.
It's genocide.
Man, every small rodent, every
Every
insect,
sheep,
everything dead.
every goat nearly dead. Every cow.
But it's not just those. It's like what they do to protect the produce. I mean, when it is just kill everything so that you can protect these plants out here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you can have your fake burger that don't even taste as good.
All right, so we're going to talk about the Bible now.
Yay, Bible!
So we're going through the narrative of the Bible. You know this. You've been listening to this podcast probably for a while. Or, hey, if this is your first time ever tuning in or your first couple podcasts, welcome to the podcast.
And look, if you're vegan, we appreciate you sticking around this long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
We support your ability. It's fine.
We
don't
love
care.
you as
We
a
love
person. We'll say that.
I don't even really care. It's
I don't.
fine if
I
you're
actually
vegan.
don't care what you eat at all.
No, I don't care.
I just feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
You know, because meat's delicious.
It's like whenever you're trying to talk to a kid about something that's good and they won't eat it.
Oh yeah.
Have you experienced this yet?
I experience this almost every day of my life.
I can't
I have
understand.
two small children. The other day I made. You like saffron rice?
Yes.
Like that yellow rice. It's the best rice you can make.
I don't know that there's.
It's so
besides
good.
Potato salad. I think I eat everything.
So saffron rice is delicious.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's seasoned beautifully. It's wonderful yellow rice, right? I made some steaks. I made some saffron rice, which was nice.
yeah.
It was a great
Oh,
pairing.
yeah.
You know? And Evie was there, and she's like, "I'm hungry," and it's like, "You want some of this rice?" She's like, "No." I was like, "Have you ever had it?" No. Do you want it? No. Why? Because I don't like it. You never had it. And so I get her to try bite, and it's like this build up and get her to try bite. You know what she says? She says, "It's delicious. Can I have some more?" You would just try it. It's good. These things are great.
What makes me mad is when they've decided they don't like it, and even when they try it, if they like it, they still pretend they don't. Because that's the only thing that makes sense.
Evie is like, she's not there yet with the hard-headedness. She'll give in. She's like, "No, I actually do like that."
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a good
nice.
place
Yeah.
to be. Quick. I used to be a little bit picky,
Yeah.
but I quit.
Yeah. I have
'Cause I
never
actually
been
got
picky.
hungry.
Yeah, I've never been picky in my life, as you can tell.
I didn't say nothing. You look fantastic.
Hey, nice. All right, so we're going through the narrative of the Bible. We're camped out on the 10 Commandments. Okay?
Yes.
We've already been through 4 of them.
Yeah.
We spent a whole week on Sabbath last week.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yep. We're going to give murder like 3 seconds.
Brad finally read our Confession of Faith, which
No.
is great. You finally read it. Appreciate that.
I was there when it was written in 1853.
And so now we're going to move on into 10 Commandment number 5. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the parents, right?
Honor them.
You better honor your mother and your father. All right, Exodus 20. Here we go. The 5th commandment, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother so that you may have a long life in the land and the Lord your God is giving you. That the Lord your God is giving you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is kind of interesting, in that it has like a little promises.
Yeah,
like,
it's it's the first one with a promise.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that you can live long in the land.
Because what happens if you don't honor your mother and your father?
You get kicked out of the land.
Yeah, because you die.
You die.
You don't live long. That's
No.
for sure. It actually doesn't say that you would get kicked out. It's just that you have a long life in the land. You have a short life if you don't honor your father and mother, which makes sense. That's a wisdom thing, honestly. most of the time, your father and mother are like your primary source of wisdom. You know,
Yeah.
most of the time, but not always.
No.
What are you about to say? You got something to say about this?
I was just thinking about what
Yeah.
it must have been like to be fathers and mothers in like 3000 BC or whatever.
Yeah. This is like 1500 BC, right? Somewhere around there. Yeah. What would it be like?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I bet it was different.
I bet it was different. I mean,
They didn't have as many broken homes, I'll tell you that.
no.
They didn't have as many moms and dads on meth.
No. They were on shrooms probably instead.
And I don't even know. They had alcohol.
Yeah, they had
some
alcohol. Yeah.
And some drunkenness issues.
Yeah.
That was like it. And man, you had to work hard to be an alcoholic in the early days.
Yeah.
Like you had to make your own.
Yeah.
I don't think you couldn't be like a barroom drunk.
No.
No.
It's
Yeah,
expensive.
very
Difficult.
limited. I mean, whenever you barely can get food, they probably didn't have that much alcohol around. So like to be a raging addict to something in 2000 or whatever BC would be very difficult.
Yeah, sometimes you think of we just think of the old world as the old world,
Yeah.
it's all the same. But there's a big difference between nomadic peoples in Canaan
Yeah.
3,500 years ago and people who lived in cities 2,000 years ago, like first century.
Oh, yeah.
Massive difference.
Massive.
Like wine, a lot more popular, a lot more available in Rome.
Yeah.
Right, in the Empire of Rome in first century and stuff. At this
But
point,
even
though,
then, it's not the same wine as we have now.
No.
We had way more alcohol to it.
All of our alcohol is like super intense.
Super
It's very
intense.
alcohol-y
Yeah.
alcohol. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that it must have been a lot different.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and so the command is to honor them.
Yes. How do you apply that today? There's some people out there with lousy parents. How
There
do you
is.
counsel them to honor a father and mother who act super dishonorable?
Yeah. So first, I would say this though, that I know a lot of. I've been doing student ministry for a while, and most of the time, they have like awesome parents because they're in church. Like the chances are great that if your family's been in church your whole life, that they're pretty stellar parents.
Yep.
The chances are better for you. And it ticks me off so much when I see those kids not honor their father and mother. It ticks me off so much. You see one of them like back talking, being mean to their parents or whatever. Oh man, like you don't know how good you got it, dude.
I almost punched a kid one time when I was
Oh, you told me that story. Tell the story.
Well, I was a kid and single mom. Well, actually twice. Two times I gave bad counsel, perhaps. One time I saw this kid whose mom bent over backwards for him, single mom, and he was yelling at her in a parking lot, and I just went full dad on him. It's like, if you talk to your mama like that around me again, I'm going to smack you, and I'm not kidding. It's
coming for you, man.
And then the other one was, I can't tell that story. Anyway, that was, I gave bad advice. Yeah. I'm not sure it was bad advice, but yeah, we're not going to talk about that one. It's so bad. It would be the worst thing I've ever said on this podcast.
You can't say that on the podcast and not do it.
Man. I cannot tell that one.
You have to. You shouldn't have set it up. You shouldn't have set it up. And so now the whole world wants to know.
I can't because it has to do with suicide. It's so bad. It's the worst.
Oh, I know this story. You got to say it. Say it.
Do I?
Yeah.
No, I can't. I truly can't do it. Oh. Basically, there was a kid threatening to kill himself if his mama asked him to clean his room again. And I pretty much told him, I said, well, the next time they tell you to clean your room, either it needs to be clean when they get home or you need to be dead. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was young. I was like, it's one of the two things, bud. Quit doing this.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Fire me. I go back in time.
This is your pastor, everybody.
I know. You know what, though? Here's the worst thing.
Well, what's the worst thing?
I still don't think I told him the wrong thing 100%.
I think you called the bluff
I did.
on that one.
Yeah, I was like,
that's a hard line to follow and figure it out.
Well,
But
I
think you did
just
call the
kept
bluff.
seeing how this particular kid was manipulating his parents over and over again with things, and I was like, You know what? At some point, it'd be better, dude, for them to call you out on this or what, because they can't keep living this way.
Yeah.
I also almost got beat up by, golly, it's all coming back to me like you triggered me.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I counseled a kid one time. He was not a youth. He was like 21, but he had been youth. And he stole almost his parents' entire 401k.
Oh, my goodness.
Gambling debts. They kept bailing him out. And he came in. They said, he wants to talk to you. And he had told them that just so he could stay in their good graces,
Yeah,
right?
get him off his back.
This kid come in there, and he had this smirk on his face. And I wanted to punch him immediately. Wanted to punch his face. This is so bad. And he comes in, and he sits down. And I said, you know why you steal from your mom and dad? And he was like, what? I said, because you're a coward. Because you know if you stole from these bookies, they would kill you.
Yeah.
So you steal from your mom and dad, which is infinitely worse than stealing from bookies, because you're a lousy coward.
Yeah.
And you should repent of it. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
I meant that. I was hoping he'd do something. I want to kick that kid's face in.
Yeah. So
That's awful.
There's like a visceral experience when you know of someone who has like good parents who they're just complete turds.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. Like there's an evilness to that.
I still think of that. I don't think I'd have been wrong to whoop that kid.
No, probably not.
I mean, or I could have just called his bookie, told him where he was.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So
you got me all fired up.
Did you? Yeah, settle down, Brad. No,
you know we don't talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, when is it okay to throw hands?
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I do know, but we'll just move on.
Move on.
Honor father and
I
mother.
know too. We're just trying to move on, Brad.
Yeah. Sorry, it's all your fault. Maybe tell that other story. And so many youth ministry
Honor your
moments.
father and mother. So that's one side of it. You have these. You have the folks who have wonderful parents, or parents that truly did their best with what they had.
Yeah,
and deserve your honor.
There's a thing though, man. Like with kids, they I don't know, man. You tell me. There's something that comes over you, or should, when you're like 16 to like 20, when you think you know everything. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like there's an impulse God puts in you to get you out of the house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you're like you
go your own way.
You got to go your own way. Go your own way. Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac, thank you.
Yes. So you get out and you have to do stuff, but you butt heads with your parents a lot in that era, you know?
You do.
And that's okay. Like, that's a thing you got to deal with.
Yep.
And then the parents, they get out there, but you need to circle back by about 21.
Usually it's a natural thing where you circle back and you realize the wisdom of your father, and you're like, okay,
He's not an idiot.
In fact, he's my greatest supporter.
Yeah.
All this kind of stuff, and you end up with a really great relationship.
Yeah.
But
there's a time of rough seas.
Yeah.
And that's also on the parents too, because you're used to saying, when they say why, you say, because I said so.
Yeah.
And there's a time one day when that's not sufficient.
Yeah.
Because they're little adults and they have their own life, and and it's hard for you not to have that control. Yeah. And some parents blow it.
You need to, it's a teaching opportunity to in that just gets missed.
Yeah.
Because you want your control.
Yeah.
That you don't end up explaining the why.
You can also handicap your kids.
Yeah, you can.
Because, here's the deal. Honor your father and mother. We're talking about honoring our kids because we're parents up in here. But, sometimes your kid's idea will work. And just because you think it won't doesn't mean it won't.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So it's like you can't do that. If every child listened to every parent, we wouldn't have any artists.
No artists and no innovators. Probably
no innovators.
You'd only have the most safest employee, jobs out there.
Now that's not true for total, because some parents are like, you should go for it. You should go for it, buddy.
And, but the parents are often the voice of caution in their kid's life,
and it's not wrong.
No.
But sometimes you got to be like, man, you got to flap their wings. It reminds me of when the eagles throw their little young eaglets out of the nest on the cliff,
of the nest. Yep.
And they got to fly or hit the ground.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it's like, let him flap his wings. Yep. Let her go.
Learning to fly, but I ain't got wings.
Let her go when the tears fall down like rain.
We're just quoting songs like crazy. So that's the other side though, is that. Some folks do not have great parents.
No.
Some folks have bad parents.
You can still honor bad parents.
How do you do that, Brad?
Well,
Well, all right. Before we do that, let's talk about bad parent. All right. So, there is a sentiment it's pretty ubiquitous, like about when it comes to parenting, that there are no bad parents. Everyone is doing the best they can, right? And that's what people say that all the time. Best they can, right? I'm doing the best I can, which is kind of a cop out.
Yeah, for sure.
When I hear that kind of stuff, that sounds super defensive. You don't want to take responsibility for any of your failures as a parent.
Yeah.
And the truth is that it's generally not true about anything in life.
No, I was just thinking that.
Like what do you mean the best I could? Yeah. Like you apply that to anything.
Best I could without experiencing pain or doing anything that required discipline.
Yeah, best I could without changing, aspects of my personality for the better of my family, or best I could without being uncomfortable. Best I could without getting out of my comfort zone and stuff like that.
Without being disciplined, without being introspective, without listening to rebuke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. Without any accountability.
Yeah.
I did the best I could without accountability or discipline.
So
that's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And so that's I think an important little distinction to make when
everybody's gonna you're gonna make mistakes. Everybody does.
That's right.
That's not the issue.
That's right.
The issue is if you can never remember telling your kids you're sorry that you made a mistake, you've probably been doing bad at parenting.
Yeah.
You should, some parents, they choose their addictions over their children.
Yeah.
They choose their mental, whatever over their children. They don't get the help they need. They don't try. They don't fight for their family.
Yeah.
And they leave a nuclear bomb-sized hole in their kids' hearts. And so those are bad parents. But you can still honor them in the same way you can honor anybody by telling them the truth. To tell somebody the truth is an honorable job.
Yeah.
And to live like, I love you so much, I'm not going to allow this behavior around my family.
That's right.
Because I'm not going to let you nuke them.
Yeah. I know. And that's a hard thing.
Yes.
That's super hard. Very difficult. I have no experience with this at all. But that's what it comes down to a lot of times is that there is a level of precedent and importance in the core family, It's who's more important as your responsibility, as your father, okay, who's more important? Your wife and children or
your mom.
Yeah, or your dad, your mom, your grandparents or something.
Leaving Cleef, baby.
Yeah. It's your wife and kids.
It's your wife and kids.
Easily. That's should be super easy.
Yeah. Good parents understand that.
Good parents really understand. They cherish it. They celebrate it.
Yes.
And so sometimes it means, these are rare situations. I don't think this is normal. But I just know that there are people.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that we talk about when you think about it. Number one, we're in ministry.
Yeah,
and
we see some darker stuff.
And then number two, we did foster care for a while.
Yeah,
and so seeing that stuff, you think, man, this stuff's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm also a military chaplain, and we're all God's broken children in the military. That's why we joined, because we're stupid and we had bad a father. Homes. We needed a father or something.
Volunteered to be your father.
Well, father and a sense of belonging, maybe a sense of family, camaraderie. Yeah. So I'm around that a lot. So you think it's everywhere. And it is actually.
It's everywhere.
But it's not maybe as bad as my segment of the population.
Yeah. And some
but I would still tell every single one of those people they still owe honor to their parents in some way.
Here's a funny, interesting, weird thing. It's the folks I've ended up spending probably the most time with in ministry, as a youth pastor, have been the folks without the father, without the good family and stuff. Because they you become a bit of a surrogate father for them.
Yeah.
And so it kind of probably gives a disproportionate experience for us, because I spend more time with those situations.
Well, also as a pastor, you are kind of a dad to everybody.
Yeah.
There's a reason they call him the Pope, right?
The Pope means
we don't,
Papa.
That means Papa. It
Father.
means Dad.
Yeah,
Yeah, Father.
Dad.
They call it. There's a reason.
There's a reason that some children in our church call you Church Dad.
They do call me Church
They
Dad.
do. That's more funny than anything.
It's funny,
Yeah.
but it actually makes me feel good.
I bet it does. It's wonderful.
I would
Yeah.
love to be Church Dad. I'm gonna have that on my tombstone. But yeah, it's man, you almost got me off on
Aspiring
fathers.
pastors. If you don't like being a dad, this might not be the job for you.
It is not the job for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. It's not
Yeah.
the job for you.
Yeah.
Because you have to act like a dad all the time.
Yeah.
You have to tell people no.
Yeah.
You have to tell people good job.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be there for them.
Yeah.
You go to people's sporting events and just love it.
Yeah.
Cheer for
Even though
them.
they're not your kids, but
Even
they kind
though
of are your
They
kids.
are my kids.
They are
man.
my kids.
I think about them all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, Lord help them. And then I see them sometimes, like on Facebook. I got kids now. Kids, golly, I'm so old. I'm like that lady at the end of the Titanic. It was 87 years ago,
Yeah.
or whatever that is. Like they're 30-something years old now and got
Yeah.
their own kids.
My
No, like that one turned out all right.
my very first crew of kids in youth ministry have just started having kids.
Yeah.
Like they're all like young parents right now. A lot of them are, and that's a weird experience. Because I don't think I'm
Shout out to Quentin Williams.
yeah.
His wife was in my youth group.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
When I was an intern.
How about that?
Golly, I'm old.
Golly.
I'm a million years old.
Back in my
They're
day.
doing good,
Hey,
though.
speaking of how old you are, everyone, it's been Brad's birthday this past week.
50
he's
years old.
50 years old. We had an awesome birthday party for him.
We did.
We our band played. Dang
Yes.
it, Bobby.
I was the front man.
You were the front man.
Oh,
It was
I
so much
rocked
fun.
it.
Played a bunch of classic rock classics, and it was a good time.
Man, we rolled into Nazareth feeling half past dead.
Yeah,
Yes.
just took a load off,
Yes. So honor your father and
Yeah,
mother.
that's right.
Some way,
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah. And so let's say it like this.
Pray for them. That's honorable.
That's honorable. Yeah. What are some other ways we can honor them?
Don't talk smack about them.
Yeah. Don't throw them under the bus.
No.
Like you don't. Yeah. You might have wounds
Don't be rude.
from it.
Always be kind.
Yeah.
Be reconcilable when you are able.
Yeah.
If just do that for the Lord's sake.
Yeah. But honoring does not mean
Doing
Doing-
whatever they say.
doing whatever they say.
No.
It doesn't mean putting them over your wife and children.
Nope.
And so, but it's I think like it kind of just stinks that we even have to like parse that kind of stuff out.
It does.
Yeah, that's
but
awful. I hate
I
that.
feel like though it's part of the modern problem, and also the modern the fact that we live in a golden age. I mean, it used to be your family was absolutely essential to your survival,
Yeah, that's true.
and now then it's not.
It's not.
Not as far as like if the enemy comes, we got to circle the wagons, or we all have to work in this field, or we're going to starve to death.
Yeah.
Or we have strength in numbers in our family. Our clan is we sink or swim together.
Yep.
Now then, it's just not like that at all.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's part of it
Yeah, we're a lot more individualistic today.
because we can be.
Yep. Yep. So that's honor your father and mother. Let's do another one. Let's go on to the next one.
Don't murder
do
nobody.
not murder. It says.
Yeah. Well, just don't do that. There we go.
Yeah. That's, you heard it here first,
Don't
folks.
murder nobody.
All right. Here's an important kind of question to ask. People ask this stuff all the time.
Yes.
Is killing murder
Of people?
of people?
No.
Okay, 'cause that's important. There's sometimes you might hear a skeptic or someone who's like trying to
Or a pacifist.
pacifist. Well, that's a different thing. First, I want to talk about the skeptic.
Yeah.
The skeptic who's trying to like just poke at the Bible or
Yeah.
something, and they may look at this commandment and say, okay, do not murder, kill. And they
Yeah.
would say, well, God kills people, and so he has sinned, right? So they would say something
Yeah.
like, yeah, you've probably heard that. You've probably heard this,
Yeah.
folks. And so address that. What do you think about that?
Well, God is not a human being. Jesus is, but we'll talk about that later. But God actually owns everything. So it's not murder for him to take life.
Yeah.
So since he owns it, it's he can do with it what he wants.
Yeah.
And he does everything right. So there's that. It's as simple as that to me.
Yeah, he's also the judge.
He's the judge. He's
And-
God.
Yeah.
He gave the life. He can take the life. He owns it.
Death is his
It's
prerogative.
like you can't. Yeah. You can't set my car on fire. If I own it 100%,
Yeah.
you set my car on fire, it's a crime.
That's
if
right.
I own it 100%, I can set the car on fire.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's
And-
mine.
Yeah, that's right. And from the get go, from the very beginning, death is his prerogative. He's the one who has instituted it
Yeah.
as the punishment for sin.
Yeah.
And so that doesn't fit. So this is murder. It's different than just
It's
general
actually
killing.
so weird too. It's not
Yeah.
weird, but like even like we think death is so horrible, and it is bad.
Yeah.
But it's also like it's a wink almost. Because you're gonna be in the presence of God instantly.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not dying in the sense that, oh, I'm gone. Everything is gone. It's gonna be like, wake up, son. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
I was thinking about this the other day that how much what nihilism is? Nihilism.
Yeah.
Fatalism, nihilism, just this idea that if you're not a Christian, you don't have Christ. Nihilism that leads to hedonism makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
It's all which is this, everyone.
there's no meaning.
There's no meaning. It's all going to end. You're going to die. So live it up now. Do everything you can.
Basically, the Pirates of the Caribbean thing.
Yeah,
take
go-
all you want, give nothing back.
That's right. And it makes a lot of sense. Actually,
Yeah.
if you're not Christian, that's probably how you should be living just logically.
Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die.
Yeah, live it up now. This is as good as it gets,
Yeah.
right? And so there's like a fatalism that leads to just really doing it could be what we would say unspeakable things,
Dude, the
rough
entire
things.
book of Ecclesiastes is about this.
Yeah. But what's so interesting is like that in Christianity, we also have a fatalism. We have a bit of a nihilism too. We like there is an appreciation in Christianity that we are all going to die.
Yeah.
You got to get that on day one.
Yeah.
Like your sin has caused you to die, and it is going to cause you to die.
Yeah.
And we all have an expiration date, and it's coming for us. But what's so interesting to me is that it does not lead to hedonism. We don't say eat, drink, and marry for tomorrow, and be merry for tomorrow we die.
Yeah.
We say honor God for tomorrow we die.
Yeah.
Right, because it's not all the end.
No,
right?
it's appointed once for man to die and then judgment.
Yeah.
That's what we're working for.
Yeah,
Right?
and this isn't as good as it gets. We have like this appreciation that this is not as good as it gets.
Oh, that's the sneaky thing. That's the worm that gets in your brain. Is you think this is the best it can be.
That's right.
Dude, I was in a Sunday school class one time, and I said, if we could vote right now, if the motion carries, Jesus will come back.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a majority, we can vote. Jesus will return right this minute.
Mm-hmm.
If not, he will wait. And do you know it? That vote did not carry.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. I was livid.
Oh
Because
my.
people were saying stuff like, I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see my kids get married. I want to see this thing. And I was like, I didn't jump off a bridge.
Yeah, no, I get it though. I get it. They're not appreciating.
Somebody was listening to this right now and
Yeah.
thought, ooh, I don't want it to be over yet.
Yeah.
Because you think this is it.
It's not it.
It is not
Not
even-
only is it not it, but this is far insufficient.
Yeah, we're
or
walking around like people
inferior.
half awake
Yes,
right now.
inferior to what
Yes.
to the resurrection. If you are not a Christian, this is the closest thing to heaven you'll ever get.
And that's why so many
Yeah.
people wind up offing themselves when they get old.
Yep,
Because they're like, well, my best years are behind me.
that's right.
My spouse is gone. I'm in pain all the time.
Yep,
I
and
just
this
wanna
is
die.
their heaven.
Yeah, this is it.
This
It's
is
over.
as good as it gets. For
So you
them.
got like
Yeah.
a 30-year window of good times, maybe.
Yeah.
From 20 to
Yeah.
50 or 60 or something, and
Yeah.
it starts getting rough.
But if
Can't.
you're in Christ though, this is the worst it'll ever be for you.
Yeah, you're like a seed.
This
man.
is your hell.
Yeah, this is the worst it's ever gonna be.
There's
Yeah.
a sense in which that's true.
So don't kill people.
Don't kill people. don't you do it. Don't
Don't
murder people.
So, yeah, so,
Well,
like-
what's the difference between a murder and a killing?
So there are places in the Bible where folks are allowed to take life,
Yeah.
and that is in issues of self-defense, in issues of war,
Yeah.
and in issues of government punishing wickedness.
Yeah.
You are allowed to swing the sword on behalf of the state whether that be a police action or
Yeah.
a military action.
Mm-hmm.
Or if someone breaks into your home and threatens your life, there are issues in the Bible. It's like you can take them out.
Mm-hmm.
That's not murder.
Yeah.
It's killing, but it's not murder. It's
Yeah.
not the punishable kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a very weighty thing.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's a big deal, but it's not the same.
Yeah. There's a difference in the Hebrew, which is this is Old Testament, so it's Hebrew.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing. Like if you're, reading the original language or something, it's a different word. Okay, it's different. The murder word, it's like a ratzach. Yeah, it's like
What's kill? Mata or something like that?
it's something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like slaying. It's illegal killing.
And it
is how
also,
it's
it
talked
explains
about.
it. It's like if you
Yeah.
lay in wait for your neighbor, you kill him, that's murder. If you're out in the
Yeah.
field and you're chopping wood and the axe flies off the handle and kills your neighbor, that's not murder.
That's right. Yeah.
But you still have to run for your life
yeah,
because
He's
the
dead.
kinsman redeemer can
Yeah.
kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So there's a difference. The murder is what is in here in the Ten Commandments, and later on in the scriptures, Jesus, when he's doing the Sermon on the Mount, he talks about murder, and it was Matthew 5.
Yeah.
He says,
He says if you call your brother a fool.
Yeah, he says that murder. Verse 21, Matthew 5:21. If you have heard that it was said to our ancestors, "Do not murder," and whoever murders will be subject to judgment. But I tell you, everyone who is angry with his brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Yeah. Whoever insults his brother or sister will be subject to the court. Whoever says "you fool" will be subject to hellfire.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, one of the greatest Disney songs ever written was Hellfire. You know that one? You know that? Oh, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a good
Disney.
one. That's a banger.
Yeah.
So if you are offering your gift on the altar and there you remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First, go and be reconciled with your brother or sister, and then come and offer your gift. Reach a settlement quickly with your adversary while you're on the way with him to the court, or your adversary will hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the officer, and you'll be thrown into prison. Truly, I tell you, you will never get out of there until you have paid the last penny. This is Jesus' teaching on murder.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a difference there, right? It's spread out. So what it seems clear.
Jesus did this with all the commandments.
He did.
He made it worse.
Yeah.
In the sense of, for people, there's a lot of things we could say about it, right?
I think it's worth saying all those
so
things.
so one of the things is that people fancied themselves law keepers, and Jesus wanted to do away with that immediately, because it's not the letter of the law, right?
Yeah.
And so he does this. We'll talk about adultery here in a minute, but like murder, he's like, it's not just about killing somebody, man. It's killing them in your heart first.
Yep.
And because that's where it comes from. It's
Yep.
sort of like what you eat doesn't make you unclean. It's what comes out of your heart that makes you unclean.
Yep.
And so he's saying, if you're calling your brother a fool, if you're just being petty and fussing with them, you're just like a murderer because they're out of your life.
Yeah.
They're done.
That's right.
And you're subject to hellfire.
It's this hatred. It's like, you're treating them like death.
Yes.
Which is, man, that's that at the root of it. That's murder.
Murder.
You're treating them with what God loves and cherishes with contempt, and that's like the heart behind murder. And so that comes all the way down to insults, calling someone a fool. Oh man. So something you preached through the Exodus a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And something you said all the time was like that the law is a low bar.
It is a low bar.
Like do not murder is a low
bar.
Low bar.
And that's why Jesus had to tell them.
Yeah. He raises the bar.
He does.
On this. I read something years ago that I thought was pretty good about this too, is that what exactly the law is.
Yeah.
That the law is kind of funky. It's like when you think of law, like your modern day, you think of like Constitution, you think of like Albertville, I don't know, ordinances and things like that. This is the law. Do this. If you don't do this, this happens to you.
Yeah.
And some of the law is like that, but sometimes it's not really like that. Sometimes it's like this ideal about, and that is expressed through expressed through commandments and examples and things like this. And the ideal in the law of do not murder is that life is precious to God.
Yes.
Right. And it's expressed through do not murder, but it's also expressed all throughout the rest of the law in other ways.
Yeah.
Right. About how to treat the foreigners among you.
Aliens
That comes
and
up.
sojourners.
Yeah. And how to treat your brothers and sisters, here with Jesus teaching. So life is precious, to God.
Yeah, here's the thing, man. The law is easy,
Yeah.
but the law is not kind. It is easy, but it's not kind.
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
It's easy to say, don't kill, don't steal, don't commit adultery.
Yeah.
If you do, it is not kind. It's final.
Oh,
Once you have broken a law, you're doomed.
Yeah.
And so it's not kind. And
You mean it's like not merciful?
it's not merciful.
Yeah, yeah.
It is not kind. There is no
The
kindness.
law gives you no mercy.
No mercy.
Yeah.
And those who live by the law will die by the law.
Yeah.
The Bible says that.
Yeah, that's right.
It will kill you.
Yeah.
It is not a thing to be played with.
Yeah.
And that's what Jesus is saying. So the law is easy, but it's not kind. And the point of really, if you could have a choice, and this is not a trick, but if you say you want to be a law keeper or you want to be wise, you better pick wisdom every single time, because the
better.
law does not help you be wise.
That's right.
It can help you be wise in the sense that it teaches you the law is training wheels, man.
Yeah.
It's easy, but it's not kind. It seems easy, and then
Yeah.
Jesus starts talking about it, and he's like, "Hey, if you call your brother a fool, it makes it sound like you're a murderer.
Yeah.
If you call your brother a fool, you're like a murderer, because every single murderer thought this guy's a fool before he did it,
Yep.
and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I
It's
think
like that's why like every discussion about the law, like if you're ever preaching on the law or something, you inevitably you have like the whole point of it is to show like how desperate you are for
the
relief
law actually,
from the law.
it makes me sad, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we have to tell people don't murder.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You have to tell people don't commit adultery.
Yeah.
And they still make
We haven't
excuses
told them
for
that
it.
one yet. We
I
haven't
just
told them
did.
that. Yeah.
Let's go to it.
Yeah.
They're
It's next, isn't it?
wrapped
Yeah.
up
Let's
together.
do adultery. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
Jesus,
what's adultery?
cheating on your covenant spouse, your covenant partner, and your wife or husband. And Jesus talks about it. He talks about it like, hey, if you're walking around with lust in your heart for another person, you've committed adultery already.
Yep. That's literally the next passage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's going through the commandments, and to everybody's chagrin, they're like, oh, no, I'm an adulterer. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, you are. That doesn't mean look at somebody and find them attractive.
Yeah.
He's talking about like spending your time lusting after them and wishing you had them, and just like fantasizing about this person who's not your spouse. Spending time on that is adultery in the heart.
Yeah.
Jesus said you're cheating on your covenant partner, and it's don't do it,
Yeah.
man. It's out there.
Yeah. He goes on, if your right eye caused you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. For it's better that you lose one of the parts of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. For it's better that you lose one of the parts of your body than for your whole body to go into hell.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yep. Why do you think that's connected to adultery?
I don't know. I mean,
Oh, you know.
I mean, like explicitly, like why you use those. I mean, you look with your eyes, right? I guess.
It's because your partner's part of your body.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah, that's what it is. Paul talks about that.
Yeah, he
said,
does,
and from the beginning, the two will become one flesh.
Yeah.
And so if you are destroying your partner, you are destroying yourself. So it seems absurd to be poking out your eyeball. Well, what are you doing cheating on your wife?
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Does everybody know that?
I don't think so. I've literally never even heard it discuss that, but it's obvious now that you say that. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why we have these talks.
Yeah, I know. I've learned so much.
Yeah. See, man, your wife or husband is not
one flesh.
It's one flesh.
Yeah.
And that does mean children too. I do think there's
yeah.
like two will become one flesh. He's talking about the making of children.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But also there is a joining, because Paul talks about it in Corinthians.
Yeah.
If you become one with her.
Yeah.
And that's why he says stay away from prostitutes.
Yeah. So
something
yeah.
spiritual happens. I don't care what people say. God, this burns me up. My hair wants to stand up on my head.
About prostitutes?
Prostitutes.
Okay.
But people talk about casual sex.
Oh, yeah.
That's like saying cold fire, man. It don't make no sense.
Yeah.
There ain't
casual
no
sex,
such thing.
One night stands, that kind of stuff.
No, it ain't no one night stand.
No,
It's the
one
rest
night
of your
damage.
life in your
Yeah,
brain.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
One night of self harm.
One moment in the grocery store of I see somebody that you was with.
There's this guy that he was like I don't know what his position was at seminary. He was like dean of students when I got there. He was an old guy, super wise. He retired while I was there.
Yeah.
But he gave this speech every year at the beginning, like what do they call it? Convocation, like at the beginning of the school year. He gave this speech about just like pitfalls that he sees seminary students falling into all the time.
Yeah.
And he always made a point to talk about sexual abuse of all varieties. But one thing he said that like it fascinated me. I thought it was like this is something to dwell on for people. He said that the most abuse that he sees in ministry is of sexually is oftentimes self-abuse, like what you put yourself through, like the opportunities you open up yourself to through pornography, through whatever you got going on, is like where fantasies you're holding in your mind or whatever. He says that's you think that those are harmless, they're killing you. Is what he told us, and I was like, oh my gosh, man, that was important.
Yeah.
In that there's a form, it's bad for you. That's the point. It's like that you think. So a lot of times people think of their sexual sin as like it's kind of harmless.
Yeah.
Right. It's private or something, but it's bad for you.
Bad for you.
Yeah.
It's bad for your marriage.
It's bad for your marriage.
It's bad for your intimacy, which is the point of your marriage. Part of the point of your marriage. Intimacy in every way, not just physical. But like we are human beings. God, we should talk about this, I guess, with adultery. Human beings, because of the fall, we're horrible at intimacy. We are horrible at it.
It's hard.
Because we have so much shame and pride.
Yeah.
And so we can't be close to one another.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to be a sex god in your own brain than work on stuff with your spouse. What? Is that funny?
I mean, it's true, but it's also it's pretty hilarious. But it's true.
It's so bad.
Like, it's a thing. It's something that it is like a block for a lot of marriages. To that when they if there's and just being real, like that's, gosh, I don't know. That's probably one of the most significant, prominent issues.
Sex and money
in marriage. But when it comes to sex in marriage, issues that we deal with, it's like the issues that they can't even talk about it. Generally.
Oh my goodness.
Like, can't even begin a conversation.
It makes me so sad.
There's no line of communication there for it because of shame, pride,
fear of rejection.
All those things.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And
it's not supposed to be that way.
No, we're supposed to be intimate and accepting.
That includes being able to talk about it.
Now, when I say accepting, that I feel like this is like we're in a minefield. Like you could step in the wrong spot and blow yourself up. When I say you need to be accepting, it doesn't mean you have to do anything your partner wants.
Yeah.
What I mean is you accept your partner.
Them.
And so like your spouse, you accept them. And
so the changes that they go through in your marriage.
Yes.
You've committed for decades here.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of differences in those decades.
Wrinkly. Stuff don't work like it used to.
Yep.
And you got to work your way through it.
Yep.
And some of that stuff is not so bad.
Yeah.
Well, if you can talk about it.
There's beauty in aging. It's a wonderful thing. Like everyone else trying to fight the tide on that. Man, that's a
look. The kids are going to get out of the house. So you got time to work on it.
Yeah. Here's controversial. Not a controversial take.
Let's hear it.
Not a controversial take, but I'm not. Never mind. I'm moving on.
Oh, wait a minute now. You basically pinned me a while ago.
I was like, wait a second. What's my audience? What am I talking about here?
Yeah.
I was like,
you thought you was talking to me for a second. You got to remember our wives listen to this.
Yeah. Well, no, it's fine. I don't know. It's worth it. It's fine. I was going to say is like, the idolization of youth in our culture and how it comes to sex in marriage. And there is like you can't make the case to me that the younger you are, the better the sex is.
No.
That's foolish.
So stupid.
Yeah. There's no case to be made that I can see that the one night stands are better than 15 years of intimacy and growth and stuff.
Even like, I can't say that,
Okay.
but like,
I think that's enough.
No, I'm not talking about one night stands. I was just thinking about like,
yeah.
if this is so sick, I don't want my, not sick, but it's so funny, but like, Steph now better than you did when you first got married.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if you could import your brain into your brain when you first got married, your wife would be in for a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I mean, that's funny.
Yeah, it's like ooh, you learn each other.
Yeah.
And you
And some of y'all might be trying to crawl up under your chairs or something right
I
now.
don't
We're talking
know
about
why.
sex. It's okay.
It's okay.
God,
Hey,
did
look.
y'all? Oh, here's another. You might have to struggle with this. Did you know that God loves sex?
He does.
He made it.
He made it.
He and everything he made.
He wants you to
loves,
enjoy
right?
it with your spouse.
Yeah,
he
it's
talks
okay.
about it. But here's the
So
deal.
if you're in public, you're listening to this with your AirPods, and you're trying to call under the desk.
yeah,
it's okay.
It's okay.
Chill out.
Here's the deal, man. You get one spouse.
Yep.
You don't look at porn. You don't look at other people. You got one person
That's
to
the
get
one.
this right with.
Yeah.
And y'all should talk about it.
Yeah. You should be able to talk about it.
You should be able to say, hey, this
Yeah.
is what, this
Yeah.
is what, this is great. This ain't so great.
Yeah.
You got to talk about how often.
Yeah.
You got to say, what can I do?
Yeah.
How can I improve? Tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
And just like get over being embarrassed, whatever.
Yeah.
Just enjoy each other for goodness sakes.
Yeah. That's right. For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But what's weird is that sounds like I'm telling somebody not to kill somebody. It's like so obvious,
Yeah.
but it's not.
But I mean, I get it. It's hard. It's hard. You just got there's like this world eats people up and spits them out, man. And like stuff people go through and that happens to them that they do to themselves.
Yep.
I mean, there's all these expectations that people have that and
every
broken
kid's watching
hearts.
porn now.
Yeah, dude, they're doomed. Gosh,
I read a thing where they were, and this is not Christian stuff. This is like TED Talk data stuff.
Yeah.
Porn ruins your sex life.
Yeah.
It ruins you. It ruins expectation. It ruins your dopamine. It ruins everything. We have it's like an epidemic of young people that are have sexual dysfunction, cannot have sex with people because they're watching porn. You know, but
Porn. There's like
that's adultery.
Yeah, it is. It's part included.
Yes.
Right? I think all pornography, whether you're married or not, is included in that.
Yes. Well, if you're not married, I would say it's sexual immorality.
Yeah.
If you're married, it is breach of covenant, and they're both bad.
Yeah. Adultery, though, do you think sexual immorality falls under adultery, or is it just something separate?
I would say so. The stakes get higher at marriage.
Okay.
Like if yeah.
So it's not one of the 10, but it's
are,
up there.
You're cheating on your future wife and your future self. So there's a
Yeah.
way in which it's wrong.
Yeah.
But I think that sexual immorality is a bigger net than adultery.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that it's like
I get
better
it.
or
No,
something.
I get it. No, I totally get it. Yeah. I was wondering if you thought it like was synonymous or
No, not synonymous.
Yeah, okay.
Like if you caught young people having sex in the Old Testament, you made them get married.
yeah.
If you caught someone cheating on their spouse in the Old Testament, you killed them.
Yeah.
So there's a different
there's a difference.
level
Yeah,
there. Yeah. So don't commit adultery in your brain.
Yeah.
Don't do it in your heart. You get one spouse for life till death do you part, and so work the stuff out. And part of the intimacy and the beauty of marriage is getting over shame, is working on your weird. Not even weird. I should not have said that. Getting over your hang-ups and pain and insecurities, and actually getting to be who you are.
It's one of the beauties of it all.
Yes, that's the point.
It is a point of it.
So Jesus is
certainly.
making us like Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right. But
Yeah.
God is making us like Jesus,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He talks about the marriage of Christ in the church, right? So as you're with Jesus, he's making you more like the person you're supposed to be. And the tool that God has given us on earth, one of the greatest, is to put us in covenant relationship with someone else. And that is where we work some of these issues out.
Yeah.
Our selfishness, our pride, our shames, and really, shame sounds like, oh, something happened to me beyond my control. And that's true sometimes.
Sometimes, I guess. Yeah.
But most of the time, shame is pride.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm ashamed that I'm fat.
I'm not who I
want to be. I'm not as
be.
handsome or pretty as
Yeah.
I thought I would.
Yeah.
No one could possibly want me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to show me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show myself to my spouse because I feel ugly.
Yeah.
And then you've just deprived not only yourself, but also your spouse.
Yeah.
And that's a jacked up thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a double whammy. You know,
Yeah.
it's
And then
like-
somebody else starts showing them.
Yeah.
And then they
what?
start showing them attention, whatever you're
Oh,
withholding.
uh-oh.
And then they cheat.
Yeah.
And then they just get in that same mess with that other person.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah. You think those relationships are going to be better?
No. It's just time. It's just
I
a matter
know.
of time.
Yeah. It's just a matter of time. That's a ticking time bomb, man.
Well, yep.
Yeah. Ugh.
Because I think it's a country song. No matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah.
You can't outrun yourself, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's everybody thinks they're running from bad marriages. They're trying to run from themselves.
Yeah. They are. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Did I say something? Well, I don't even know if it's not a country song, we should write it.
It should be a country song.
Yeah.
Is it a country song? Wherever
should
you
be.
are, wherever you go, there you are.
I don't know.
I don't know. We might.
It sounds
that
good.
might be our first thing about
Yeah,
original.
that's good. Yeah. That we're gonna write a song called "The Law Is Easy, but It's Not Kind."
Yeah.
And then we'll write about outlaws or something. I don't know.
Young people are doomed.
Young people
Would be
are
another
doomed.
one.
Oh man,
Dude, I feel it for 'em, man. My generation was the first one to kind of experience online pornography. It's
Yeah.
like the
Ubiquitous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ubiquitous, available, open, and stuff. But there was still like it wasn't necessarily easy. Like, all of our computers were like in the living room or something.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
dude? It's on your phone.
It's on their stinking phones.
Man,
dude.
I like to watch Instagram Reels when I'm using the restroom,
Mm-hmm.
and if you just hit the search bar, it thinks I want to look at porn,
Oh yeah.
or at least sexy stuff.
It's gonna like front it. The algorithm's gonna front it because it's popular. In
Yes,
its
that's the thing.
algorithm, it's popular.
It's like, surely
yeah.
he wants to watch this. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah, these poor folks, man. I do see some I don't know. It's not a glimmer of hope, but it is. It is. I think our culture is becoming aware of the danger and like how it affects young people.
Yeah.
Like Australia just did that social media
Yeah.
ban. It's outlawed for minors.
Mm-hmm.
You have like these states. I think Texas is one of them. Louisiana that have made online pornography illegal underage.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how they're enforcing
Man,
it.
I just want to make sure we say, we're not against pornography because sex is bad or gross. We're against it because sex is good and holy.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And you're taking something sacred
Mm-hmm.
and cheapening it.
Yeah.
And because when you divorce the physical from the spiritual,
Yeah.
you've taken something out of the equation that belongs.
Yeah.
And it's bad.
It's lost its definition in
It
a
has.
sense.
Yeah.
And it causes harm, to those relationships that are coming, because you're talking about 14-year-olds,
You've basically made it a drug.
Yeah, you're talking about 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Super impressionable.
But I mean, it's
Their
like somebody
brains
doing.
are not even done.
No.
Not even close.
Not even
to done.
close.
It's like 10 more years,
Yes.
in the crock pot. And so it's like, I'm encouraged to see some of those things,
Yeah, it's good to see like science get involved and be like, hey,
Yeah.
we might be ruining our children here.
This is going to be like the same level. I mean, maybe even probably higher level than like the cigarette, kind of like
Yeah.
expose that happened
Alcohol,
in like the 80s
like, it's
and
probably
everything.
not good for a 15-year-old.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's about all the time we got today.
Don't steal stuff.
Yeah, big deal about honoring father, mother, murder, and adultery is don't do them.
Except the honor part.
Or do that one.
Do that one.
But don't do the other two. Yeah.
Yeah. The honor your father and mother is a positive command.
That is a positive
Do
command.
this thing.
Yeah, do this.
Right. And there was a translation of the Bible. I can't remember what do they call it, the apostasy Bible or whatever, when it came out and it said thou shalt murder. What? Or is it the adultery Bible? They left out not in one of the early
Why?
printing presses. It's just an accident. It was a misprint.
Okay. I got you.
So they misprinted all these Bibles. They call it the something Bible, and it was out thou shalt commit adultery or thou shalt murder. I forgot which one. Yeah. Whoops a daisy.
Oops.
Yeah. So positive command.
Yeah.
Honor your father and mother. Pray for them. don't talk
Love them.
trash about them.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't draw healthy boundaries when they're being wicked.
Yeah.
Or even just cut them out.
Yeah.
You got to do stuff for your family.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. And then don't murder. Clearly, don't go murdering people.
Yeah.
And don't ninja nobody. Don't need ninjing. And
What?
You haven't seen the Redneck Ninja? Yeah, you have to look it
Okay.
up. And then don't harbor hatred and contempt in your heart for your brother.
Yeah. Or
Don't
your
do it.
sister.
Or your sister.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And don't commit adultery.
Don't you do that. Yeah.
Because you're hurting yourself and you're hurting your spouse. And I don't know that there's a short of like losing a kid. Is there a pain worse than the betrayal of the covenant of marriage?
Oh my gosh, dude. Haunts people the rest of their life. Haunts them.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in ministry now like 21 years, 20. You've been in it a million years too. When I think back on the things that would look like a hand grenade went off in the room, number one, probably adultery.
Easily.
Ugh.
Oh, man, the fallout's just awful.
For a generation.
Yeah.
For a generation.
Yeah. So don't do that either. All right. You've heard it here first, but you should have heard it from the Bible first. Sorry.
I have never in all of my life heard of somebody committing adultery and everybody would be like, well, it's a good thing that happened.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
Now, I've heard people get killed before. And it'd be like, well, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, it's true.
But like adultery?
Adultery, no.
Never.
No.
Not one time.
No.
So much pain. Man, it's just like, it's a burden.
Yeah.
I feel it in my heart now.
Yeah.
And when we talk about it, I think about all these people.
You've been around it so much recently, too.
Not I didn't do it, but yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Let me clarify.
I've seen
You
that.
just have a lot of soldiers dealing with it right now and stuff. Yeah.
Soldiers,
Yeah.
people over the course of ministry, acquaintances, just seeing people deal with the fallout. Not even just, not even like they had actual adultery, like they with another person, but just like the man. Pornography is like the poop that's hit the fan. You just sprayed it on everybody. It's so bad. That's a pretty good illustration. It's just everybody's trying to get the crap off, and they don't know, and their expectations are wrong. They get in a fuss with, and it becomes. I literally think of pornography like a drug.
Yeah.
Because it's like heroin.
Yeah.
People, when you learn to use pornography at 14 to handle stress, then it's probably especially dudes, but not limited to them.
They say it's growing among. Well, it used to be like 60%. It's like 80% of girls.
It's ubiquitous. One and two. It's they were lying.
Yeah.
But
I bet. Yeah.
I think it was a little more shameful a couple decades ago for a girl to admit that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I could.
Yeah, there was I don't know if the website's still going, but there was a website called Fight the New Drug that was really popular a couple years ago.
Was it about porn?
It was, yeah.
Well,
it was about Terry Crews from the actor.
Yeah.
He was one of the sponsors on it.
Really?
Talked about his battle with pornography. Billie Eilish, I think, was on it too.
Really?
Yeah. It's like just so it wasn't explicitly Christian or anything. No. It was just the people realizing how harmful pornography was to their mental health and to their brain health.
There's so many ways it destroys you. So you
intelligent. I think Terry Crews was, or it might not have been him, but one of them was like it affected their intelligence. Like they were. It did. Yeah. It's like it's. I don't know. Their explanation was pretty wild.
Well, all I know is that it sets up expectations for sex that are not real, and it makes it worse, in some ways.
Yeah.
And it is body shaming and like it's just dumb.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. It's a cultural evil, no doubt, right now. It's one of the primary cultural evils I think our culture has. Like, it's just kind of like sitting there.
Yeah.
It's like the elephant in the room all the time. Yeah. It's like that there are people that are like silently.
Well, they have a hard time studying just how bad for you it is, and you know why? they can't find a control group.
Oh yeah.
It's like to study
dude.
like, listen,
Oh,
I'm
I
not
know
joking.
it.
This
I
is
know.
legit.
Yeah.
It's like we want to see how bad pornography is messing up dudes from 20 to 27. And they're like, well, we have to find 50 guys that haven't looked at porn and like they can't get them in the same room. There's
Yeah,
not enough
they
dudes
can't. Yeah.
because every single one of them looking at it.
Yeah, gosh, this was awful. I read it years ago. This is older information, but it was stats from like a Bible college. Wait, do you gotta go?
We do.
Okay, well, we'll finish with this. It was stats from like a Bible college or something.
Yeah.
And they keeping statistics and data on their website or their internet traffic.
Yeah.
And it was like every IP address had connected to pornography. It was close. It was like in the 90s.
I did a sermon
Yeah.
one time. We were talking about don't commit adultery in Matthew 5, I think. And I looked up the web traffic for like whatever the porn hubs are or whatever they are. And they get more traffic than Amazon.
Oh my gosh.
It's insane.
Amazon?
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my god. All right. That's all the time we have, folks. Thank you all. I'm not like shutting that off, but you said we had to go.
Yeah,
you
we
looked
did.
at your watch and gasped.
We forgot to take those speakers back.
Oh no.
Yeah, we got to go do
We
that.
got to go do that.
Yeah.
All right. All right, folks. Thank you guys for listening to the Big Deal Podcast. We will see you later.
See
All right.
ya.